I tried all kind of natural alternative medicines, which there are like homeopathy, acupuncture, um, all kind of herb therapies. I tried meditation and yoga. I was actually living in an ashram for several years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and in the end, I stopped there out of frustration because it didn't really get me anywhere, unfortunately. Because I thought this must be able to be solved in some ways. And what one point I even had an exorcism done on me because yeah,
Yeah.
I thought yeah, I might be possessed by some external force. For many years, I thought I have Lyme disease
Mm-hmm.
um, because one test was even positive, but it's a test which is known to have also many false positives because it's a
Ah,
very sensitive test. So, and yeah, I was completely convinced that my nervous system somehow must be damaged and broken, and or I damaged it by myself with all the drugs I was using
mm-hmm.
before. So yeah, so I was completely convinced, and I'm still a bit shocked that in all those years, in those tens and tens of therapists I was with, that not one of them ever brought up the topic of anxiety, even. Like it was never mentioned to me that it's anxiety. I only know since 2 years now, not longer. That
Wow.
2 years ago was the first time I even got this possibility that it might be anxiety. And this is still something which is quite a bit shocking for me. But on the other hand, I can understand because I was never like a very, for other people, I was never a fearful guy. Like
Right.
when people had to do something dangerous or something, so they came to me and asking me, can you like illegal things and or driving, or I did bungee jumping. I was traveling the half of the world. So, but I think also it's especially also a topic for men because now I can see it completely how full of fear I was big part of my life. It's so much part of my was so much part of my being, of my way of feeling life that I couldn't really see it as anxiety or fear.
All right. Hey, everyone. So we are here with Josse, who is over in Germany, and he's just really excited to share with us about his anxiety recovery journey. Um, for folks who have been following the content, you would see a lot of recovery videos being put out and recognizing that there are persons from all over the world that have enrolled with Bye Bye Panic and this amazing mentorship program and have found their recovery. And hey, Josse is another one. And so here he is, excited to sit with us, talk with us for a few minutes, share with us his story, his journey. Josse, how you feeling, man? How was everything? You came through the mentorship program. You were with us for little over 6 months, or about 6 months in the program originally. But you look so great. I had that opportunity to mentor you on some of my group calls as well, and you were just always on it. Really proud of your progress. Look at you now, inspiring and helping others. But yeah, man, tell us about yourself really quickly, and then we'll get into some specific questions. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, quite nervous. Like, um, quite. Yeah. Well, I was thinking about canceling the interview until the last minute, actually. But then I thought, no, man, you have this skill. You just let it be there. You take it as excitement and
Yeah.
to just skip it for another time. No, you are not that person anymore. So that's why I'm here, and and at the same time I'm so excited, and I also want to share my story because because I also want to celebrate that finally I'm was able to get into life and to join life. Like before it I was only, it was somehow passing by only. And
That's excellent. And English is not your first language either, right?
no, definitely not. No. So
Wow.
I hope we'll be fine.
You're doing great. And I mean, I can sense your excitement. And like you said, hey, anyone that's doing a type of interview is going to feel a little bit nervous, but kudos to you on saying, man, I just let that thought be there. I didn't let it make me cancel. And you feel great now that we're actually in it, right? So here you are in Germany. Hope I have some questions for you, but would you say you've struggled with this anxiety challenge for some time, Yossa? Yeah. A good portion of your life, I guess. Like, how many years would you say you've had this before meeting us, before even starting to work on it, fix it, things like that? And we'll get into that. But did you have this struggle for a decent portion of your life?
40 years actually, since my
Wow.
childhood.
Wow. 40 years. And you're saying that you're recovered now, you feel a lot better. And, sometimes folks wonder who they could be outside of anxiety because they've known it for so long. But you're Yossa. Yeah?
Yeah, and I still sometimes think, if I only would have known this knowledge, which I know now, and these skills, and people like you who are able to guide people, how much different. But on the other side, it also brought me here, and now I still have quite a big part of life in front of me. So
Yeah. That's
I
great.
also, in my struggles, I now, but only now I can see that there are so many things I learned on the way on searching for a solution, which now I have them available, and
Yeah,
which I can bring now more to life.
that's fantastic. Well, so tell me then, what were your biggest symptoms?
So for me, it was mainly always DPDR. So non-stop 24 hours. I It's all started when I was 12 years old, around.
Okay.
And so most probably it was triggered by an anaphylactic allergic reaction I had,
Okay.
where I couldn't breathe for some minutes anymore, and I thought I would die, and I was like suffocating. Fortunately, I was still at the doctor's, so he was giving me a jab, and after some time, I could breathe again. But a while later, yeah, everything started to feel strange. I went to my mother. I remember that I told her, Mom, I don't know, it's everything feels so strange. It's like I'm in a dream all the time. It's everything looks strange, and it's so unreal, everything. What it is? And yeah, my mother couldn't make anything out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yeah, and I also didn't know. I just tried to live with it. So, but since then, I never really, yeah, I was always kind of out of reality, and life was somehow passing, and I got very withdrawn from people, and um, social interaction was always difficult because I was not really, I couldn't be present like I wanted. So, and I never really found what to do in life. I did a lot of self-medication with all kind of drugs during my life. So now I see it as a try to, yeah, get along with those scary symptoms. Yeah, always this strange feeling in the body. Yeah, and not really being there. And I never really had a job, because I never felt like I could really work. If possible, I like to stay at home and everybody should leave me alone as much as possible. And it was not like I didn't dare to go out at all, but my best safe place is home in bed alone. And yeah, every demand of life was experienced as too much. So I didn't, yeah, feel like coping with life.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot to come by for years from being a child, a kid, to your teenage years, adult life, and to know that you've gotten your life back, man, and on track and being able to recover from that, that must feel really great. Yeah. And I'm so I just want to tell you, man, kudos to you on having that strength to be able to share that, because I'm sure this will really relate to a lot of people out there, where they're living a half a life, not fully experiencing life, and being shut in because of symptoms that we just try to learn to cope with rather than overcome. And as you know, we really have this hands on approach to overcoming with what we do with our Bye Panic recovery, our program. So the mentorship has definitely helped many folks just like yourself. We've been able to help you definitely. And so happy to hear you talk about you. Even before I asked, you actually told me how it started, right? And I suppose it just kind of got worse from there because we resist, we push away, we fight because we don't know really what to do. We don't always understand acceptance and embracing it and on our process that we really teach and helping people in the mentorship. But you said you tried to fix it by self-medicating, because that was going to be another question I had for you. Like, hey man, what else did you try to fix it?
I tried all kind of natural alternative medicines, which there are like homeopathy, acupuncture, all kind of herb therapies. I tried meditation and yoga. I was actually living in an ashram for several years.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and in the end, I stopped there out of frustration because it didn't really get me anywhere, unfortunately. Because I thought this must be able to be solved in some ways. At one point, I even had an exorcism done on me because, yeah,
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, I might be possessed by some external force, which, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you tried a lot of things. Now,
Yeah, for many years I thought I have Lyme disease
mm-hmm.
um, because one test was even positive, but it's a test which is known to have also many false positives because it's a very sensitive test. So, and yeah, I was completely convinced that my nervous system somehow must be damaged and broken, and or I damaged it by myself with all the drugs I was using
Mm-hmm.
before. So yeah, so I was completely convinced, yeah, something nobody understands. And I'm still a bit shocked that in all those years, in those tens and tens of therapists I was with, that not one of them ever brought up the topic of anxiety, even. Like it was never mentioned to me that it's anxiety
Wow.
I'm suffering. That it is anxiety, I only know since 2 years now, not longer. That
Wow.
2 years ago was the first time I even got this possibility that it might be anxiety. And this is still something which is quite a bit shocking for me. But on the other hand, I can understand because I was never like a very, for other people, I was never a fearful guy. Like
Right.
when people had to do something dangerous or something, so they came to me and asking me, can you like illegal things and or driving, or I did bungee jumping. I was traveling the half of the world. So, but I think also it's especially also a topic for men, because now I can see it completely how full of fear I was big part of my life.
Yeah.
But actually, like I don't I didn't really allow myself to, yeah, cannot I so this it's so much part of my was so much part of my being, of my way of feeling life, that I couldn't really see it as anxiety or fear.
Wow. So amazing. At least 40 years of your life struggling back and forth with this, coping, trying all kinds of things, but 2 years no, just really identifying that this was anxiety. And then all your methods before, coping, fighting off, all of that, just recognizing it not working. Eventually you found the mentorship. How did you find the mentorship?
Through Googling and finding Shaan's YouTube channel, watching some of the videos, and I was finding out, or I was starting to be convinced that I'm suffering from DPDR before. So this was the first thing, that through Googling, once again, I found this. Never before this topic came in my searches, but yeah. So, and then I saw, wow, so many are suffering, that this sounds very much like what I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
So, researching DPDR, and then, it's connected, it might be connected to anxiety. Yeah, this then I was researching that and found Shaan's channel. I don't know if perhaps people are interested to learn what really helped me to get into this also, because just before I started the mentorship, I was getting an education of um, nonviolent communication and NVC. You know about it? Yeah, I'm sure you know the teachings of it. And there we specifically learned to get comfortable with uncomfortable feelings. Like we learn to invite all kind of feelings we normally don't want to feel. And you learn a lot of self-empathy and yeah, about to learn about your own needs and feelings and to let them be there. And it was so going hand in hand with the mentorship, where you learn especially this also a lot, where you to allow all those uncomfortable states and feelings, to just let them be there and allow yourself to feel them.
Yeah. So that helped, coming into the program, learning some things, and but yeah, tell us about that experience with the mentorship. Eventually, you found it, as you said, Googling, and you recognized that this community understood. Did it take you long to make that decision to get started with Bye Bye Panic, and then go ahead and tell me about that? that experience, be actually being in the mentorship, the community that we have, the mentorship that you have access to. Tell us about that.
Actually, it was quite fast. So I saw some videos. I signed up for a first call, get to know you guys, and I think I was after that I was thinking about, I don't know, 1-2 hours about it, and then I joined the program.
Hey,
And yeah, and I must say it was like the first effects were within days. Actually,
wow.
I found the beginning a lot easier than later on.
Mhm.
What I found, well, what I've found the most difficult, if it's allowed to speak about what I found difficult, is when you have the first amazing results of this approach, of these, then and you know it works, then not to use it to feel better, because there will be times where you feel bad, and then you know you need to do this, but you do it with the mindset of I want to feel better. So this is a trap which for me was at least
Right.
sometimes a bit difficult to not use it.
Yeah. So you learned having the value of a mentor. I guess you recognize that direction was always better than correction. And so having that coaching and that mentoring available, that community, that support, being in a group with people who actually understood this, who was going through what you went through or worse, or, already making progress, it was encouraging to keep going. And that's the difference with having that community support. But then there's the one-on-one opportunities as well. And you and I got to do a few of those too. And it wasn't much to really remind you of some things. You knew what to do, it's just staying consistent, yeah. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes that's what folks need. I was a client of this program before becoming a mentor, and I live all the way in the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. And for me, at first, finding a program like this on the internet, you're told about so many things to look out for. Is it legit? Is it real? Can they really help you? But like you, I searched the world, man. I traveled, I spent a whole lot of money looking for the answer, looking for the cure, as people say. But you learn here that it's about overcoming. And so what I've learned here has definitely, I'm sure you could agree, Yossa, has made you a better person. You've now learned to master a lot of your emotions and thoughts. You can now help others. Like you can see when a lot of people out there have their hangups, their situations, right? Like you could sense anxiety from miles away now, and you know exactly how to respond. It's even helped you with responding to your life stresses coming through this. So you emerge a better person. You're stronger now. Um, Everything now becomes you're just a lot more wise. You've come through a transformative process. Yeah. And you never regret coming in through this program. I know I
Or
don't.
not. No.
Yeah.
But and it's now like this that I'm often now the one with a stronger nerves. Like before, it was always me with the noise from the kids and so on. Everything was too much. Now it's like, yeah, I can feel a
Feelings
bit
of
of
Steve.
that through, yeah, but it's okay. And my girlfriend, which is healthy, is like, how can you not be stressed out by this?
Yeah, yeah. You don't no longer sweat the small stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
and you get very much a sense also of you see immediately when other people are resisting their emotions or
Yeah.
anyway. And this is not only about anxiety. I mean, this is such a valuable skill for life.
Yes. And
It
and you would
gives,
say you got that in the community, the group calls. Do you see the value in it being together as a
it's
group? You
being
recognize?
remembered, being
Yeah.
remembered again and again and again, even if some things are repetitive, but it's superb that it is repetitive, because we keep forgetting and falling out and going back to old, especially if you have these habits many years. It's difficult to do it on your own,
And
because
would you
you
say
so
that that community gave you that value? Like, sometimes folks feel weird to say certain things in a group setting, but you recognize that it was a safe environment. Yeah, that you could actually be on there, share. Everybody was so encouraging. And it's not like those anxiety forums that people just post stuff and people try to outdo each other on what is worse. And no one has a solution. It's so different, right? With what we have access to.
completely. Yeah, it's not like this. Is there anybody else having this very bad symptom? And everybody jumping, yes, me too, and just symptom monitoring. So,
Yeah,
um, which is not helpful at all.
exactly.
I feel like, and no, here, and yeah, everybody knows what the other one, or can relate very much to what the other people are sharing, and
Yeah. And how did you
going
feel? How do you feel about the mentors that you? So you had the group settings. You have so much that you're equipped with. Like we have our ways that we teach and our modules, our calls. It's like information coming in from everywhere, working with you at your pace, working with you at certain times that suit you best. All that is there. Great mentorship. But tell me about your experience with the mentors. How do you feel about them? Because we really have a dream team, huh? You have different guys, different ladies that, they just all balance out each other well. Everyone brings something different to the table. But what was your experience with some of us?
definitely. Yes. I will never forget the group calls with Mirka on Fridays, where you can also have a long chat, and like private stuff also has a place. So, and yeah, but still connected always to the wisdom of and the knowledge of how the brain works, and which I found very valuable. All the knowledge about, yeah, how the mind and the brain and the body are working, and yeah, where you are losing a lot of the fear of the fear,
Yeah.
because yeah, you start to really understand, and also to see so many people recovering at the same time.
Yeah.
To to I must say, I didn't see one person in the mentorship going with me that was really engaged and which was showing up. Yeah, there are people which don't show up and are not appearing, but from the people which are really there and taking part and showing up to the calls and which are engaged, I didn't see one which was not getting better and was not.
Exactly. Exactly. The mentorship was on point, accommodating, personable mentors. Yeah. Where we really made each person feel comfortable to be in this environment. And so now we could really coach them and mentor them and ensure that we got results. And so that's how I felt. That's why, I stayed with this program. And then I eventually became a coach. Um, Honestly, shortly after doing an interview like this, I was with Shaan and we spoke about my journey. And I'd love to, of course, have you share a bit more, whatever you'd like to share. But another question I'm thinking about is knowing that you were at your lowest point. That lowest point for you would have been just before finding this program, right? Being fed up of traveling, searching, spending all of this money behind so many things. So yeah, what was that lowest point for you? Was it right before this program?
Was not long before. I was thinking of going into a clinic, like a hospital for
Yeah,
mental disease, to yeah get out and try to gather myself somehow. I had all the time intrusive thoughts to kill my little son, which
yeah,
was like it's like well, 1 year old, and
Yeah.
Yes, this was like really, I didn't know how to deal with that. Like all these thoughts of just wanting to get rid of him
Yeah.
somehow, or smash him against the wall or whatever to make him stop wanting something all the time.
Yeah. And that could definitely, as a parent, you know that you love your children, you love your kids. How could you, so in your mind you think, how could I have this thought? So you feel really bad, you feel really low, you felt like checking yourself in, right? As you said, to mental institute. But hey, you recognize it was just anxiety, adrenaline in the mind, burning off his thoughts, sharing with you the scariest stuff, catastrophizing, all of that. And that wasn't you. Your thoughts are not you, as you learned here. But you made a decision, you got the help, you recognize that you recovered, you no longer have these thoughts. What would you say to someone then, if that was one of your lowest points? What would you say to someone who is at their lowest point right now?
If you think about joining this program, don't hesitate. I
Hmm.
not think of that you will regret it.
Yeah. And if you could talk to a younger Yossa who is going through the thick of this, all of it, the DPDR, life is a simulation, nothing is real, no one is real, I'm living in a dream, I just don't want to, live anymore with this type of thing, what would you tell him?
Hmm. Not sure because this program will not have been, it wasn't the time.
Right.
I would try to sneak him a book of Claire Weeks.
Right. Because there's help. There's a lot of work that you can do to try to help yourself beforehand. Me, I personally did a lot of work, but I still needed help with that final hump. And I needed a program like this that had this type of mentoring. Professionals who have gone through it. That's the thing, right, Yossa? About all the mentors, they've all been through this and they've recovered.
Yeah,
So
this is what I would say, definitely say. Find someone who went through this
yeah,
and who did this because once you once you know what we learn in this program, you you are completely sure this can never be something that where you will be stuck again inside because you know how to you know the way, you know exactly what to do, how to
yeah.
yeah how to break the cycle, how to
Hmm. That's awesome. Those are wise words. And man, you're doing really good, really well. For someone that says they were nervous to start the call, man, you've been going at it and you're doing really well. And again, kudos to you. I know English is not your first language, but you're crushing this. And so, what would you say to someone then that is looking at this? They have spent a lot of money. They Would you encourage them to take a chance on themselves because they've done so much already? I know that's how I felt. Yeah, should I keep trying? Should I give up? I found this video. I'm listening to this guy who is in Germany right now talking about recovery with this Bye Bye Panic mentorship. What would you say to someone like that? Like you would tell your younger self, as you said, hey, this is what you would do, don't hesitate. But what would you tell the audience of people that are looking at you right now, inspired by your story? Because I know I am.
I'm,
What would you
I'm
say
not
to
the
them?
first one saying this, but if I was able to recover and get out of this after yeah 40 years of living with this, I have no doubt that you can also.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you for having that faith in us, that belief in us. I mean, you experienced it firsthand. You came through the mentorship. The mentors are all impressed by you. That's why we wanted you on the channel. You did a great job. We know you're going to continue to just absolutely crush it in life. Thanks for doing this with us, man. Any last words? Any last things that you'd like to say? Just anything. actual question for you, but whatever is on your mind that you feel like you just like to share with the channel, what would that be?
Just that I'm so grateful for this program to guiding my way out of this nebulous, yeah, foggy world into life.
Wow. Well, thanks so much, man. Always a pleasure catching up with you. Did an excellent job. Thanks for sharing your story, sharing that journey with us, and now not having any type of symptoms at all, fully recovered, just living life and sharing with others. I'm sure you would have definitely encouraged and inspired some persons on here. So for folks who are, looking at this and wanting to know how you become like Josse, if you're struggling for years, whatever it was that you're dealing with, the mentorship can definitely help. We'll have links on this video so that you can get in touch with us and find out how you can eventually enroll, get that help, and get, this anxiety challenge taken care of once and for all, just like Josse did. So thanks again, Josse. Excellent job, man. Look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.